0, 1. Let's get started.
What's up, family? Welcome to the Reclamation Code. It's me, Ricky. If you're here for the first time, welcome. So today, what we're going with is I'm going to tell you that your brain makes stuff up. Not being rude, just honest. Every time you remember something, you're not retrieving it. You're rebuilding it. And sometimes your brain gets lazy and even creative. So this came up this past weekend. I was talking to my brother David. So shout out David Bush, one of the most mentally strong, adaptable, creative individuals that I know as a family member. So this kind of triggered something that we were talking about and remembering something, but whether the way we were remembering it is, proper. Did it really happen that way, or am I just making it up? So this kind of got me thinking about it. So I thought this would be fun. On a personal level, like as an addict, I lied so much for so many years that, a lot of my stories, I can't tell the difference if it was truth or made up. At this point, I really have to hesitate before I even tell a story, just because I'm not sure if what's about to come out is the whole truth or just bits and pieces of it. When it comes to my childhood, it's the same thing. I got these stories that I've been telling for years, and half the time, to me, it feels true, but it may not be. So I thought this was kind of a cool one that we can jump into. The first thing to know is that, science says that your mind's job isn't accuracy. The mind is it's set up for speed. It's set up for survival. It's one of those things, if you burn a piece of toast and you panic that, the house might catch fire, that's not you being paranoid. That's your brain making a fast prediction based on a pattern. The way that we reconstruct memories, every time you revisit a memory, it changes. There's tiny little edits that can happen. Different small gaps will get filled in. And eventually what you're left with is a version that feels like the truth, and it's not you lying. It feels that way. But it may be nothing more than a narrative that you ended up stitching together by your subconscious. So it's pretty cool when you think about it and how the studies have worked out to identify that type of thing. An example would be like, have you ever argued with someone about something that they said last week? It could be you swore that you never agreed to do something. I know for me, I make plans or I come up with ideas, and then 5 days later, I'm not too sure. It might be because I'm tired. That plays into it, but there's also, a real big one is, and I've seen this in families and friends, is, you might be holding on to a grudge of some sort. It might be built on a memory that, didn't really or ever really happen that way. But if you give it enough time and enough stewing in your mind, it starts to change up. So your identity is shaped sometimes by distorted stories and summaries. The good news about this, and this is what's pretty rad about it, is that, through science, through cognitive abilities and things that you can do, if your brain can edit the past, you can actually re-author the future and the past that's coming up now. So, you can't author the future, not that, but you can edit what's going on at this point. You can actually you take the pen back to the story. So you can stop reacting to the stories and start rewriting the ones that no longer serve you. So the way that this can be done is the next time you're trapped in a loop of anger, confusion, regrets, you can just sit back, take a minute, and ask yourself, like, what's real, and what's just a familiar pattern in this. If you take a second to reflect, which is always good to pause anyhow when it comes to things, it's something that, I think can be super helpful. But I think, this is pretty neat stuff. Like when it comes to, when you're thinking about remembering things and the storylines, and I know as a parent, the more stories that I come up with about Bella when she was a baby, like I'm filling in gaps, but I don't know, did I really, take her, did we really do that when we were at that park? Or is that something that I was thinking about? The way to think about it is your brain isn't a camera. It's a pattern prediction machine. So that's kind of cool. Like, that's something to think about, and just remember that your brain is set up to recognize patterns, not necessarily facts. It evolved to help us survive, not to recall certain precise details. So with that, I could keep talking about it. I just think it's, super cool, the science behind all that. But so hopefully you guys have a wonderful week ahead of you. Remember, love strong, do hard things, embrace your gifts, love each other. If there's a storyline or a pattern that you remember offhand and want to share it, go ahead and comment below. Be sure to like and subscribe. Every single person that comments, talks to me, I promise I'll write back, because it means the world to me to have your support and be part of this community. So thanks again, guys. I love you. Have a great week. Talk to you next time.